The new class is called as an derived class or child class or subclass. And from which class we are deriving the class, that the existing class is called as a base class, main class, okay, or parent class here. Okay. Now we have types of inheritance: single, multi-level, multiple, hybrid, and hierarchical inheritance. Okay. So already we have seen that in the previous session. So what is single, multi-level, multiple, and hierarchical? Okay. So once look at the PPT. Yeah. So already we discussed about the multiple, multi-level, and a single and hierarchical inheritance. Yeah. So is the single level inheritance. We have only one base class and one derived class. And come to the multi-level inheritance, we have one base class. From the we are deriving one child class. From the derived class, we are deriving one more derived class. So this type of level inheritance is called as a multi-level inheritance. And come to the multi-level, we have a number of base classes. From that, we are deriving the one derived class or the child class. And next we have a hierarchical inheritance. So it is opposite to your multiple inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance here we are taking only one base class. From one base class we are deriving the number of derived classes. Okay. Now already we have seen all these four types of inheritance. Now let's see the fifth type of inheritance. So what is the fifth type of inheritance here? Hybrid inheritance. So what is the meaning of hybrid? You can take the combination of any four types of inheritance. You can take the combination. You can take the single and multi-level, or you can take the multi-level and the multiple, or you can take the multiple and hierarchical, or multi-level hierarchical. You can take any combination. So that combination is called as a hybrid inheritance here. Now once see this one. So I'm taking one base class. From that I'm deriving the two child classes, that is a Samsung and Nokia. And from Samsung I'm deriving one more, that is a Samsung S5. And from Nokia I'm deriving one more class, that is a Nokia Lumia 625. And what is the combination? What are the combination of combinations I have taken in the hybrid inheritance here? So it is a hierarchy inheritance up to here, mobile Samsung Nokia. So up to here it is the hierarchy inheritance. And from this I'm deriving the again no more two more new classes. So it is a multi-level. So that is a hierarchical and a multi-level inheritance is the combination here, that is called as a hybrid inheritance. Okay. Now we'll go to the one more example for this hybrid inheritance. One more example for this hybrid inheritance. So let us take this one. Let us consider this one. So this is the hybrid inheritance. Now I'm seeing a hybrid inheritance. Suppose I'm taking the class A, and from class A I'm deriving the two child classes, that is class B and class C. And from class B and from class C combinedly I'm going to derive one new class, that is a class T. Okay, so from B and C combinedly I'm deriving the one more common derived class, that is a class T. Okay, so here I'm taking the what are the combinations of inheritance here I have taken. Can anyone tell me what are the combinations here? Yes, yes. Your voice is not audible. Thus, can anyone tell me what is the combination here I have taken for the hybrid inheritance? Please post it in the chat box if it is a problem. Single level, hierarchical and multiple. Yes, Somesh, is good. Is a hierarchical and a multiple. So, so how can we say that it is a hierarchical and hierarchical? Suppose class A, class B, class C, it is a hierarchical. We have one base class, we are deriving a number of base derived classes. And come to class B, class C, class D, it is a multiple inheritance. From B and C, I am deriving the one more class here. As Sonia said, good. It is a combination of hierarchical and the hybrid inheritance. Now, you see this one carefully. So this is the interview type of question also. Now suppose in class A I have created one function, display function. Okay. So in class A, I have one class that is a display function. Suppose if I derive the class A, if we are deriving the two classes B and C from class A, whatever A consists of data members and member functions, and those can be derived into the class B and class C. Okay, so means display is derived into class B as well as the class C. Why? Because I am deriving the class B, class C from class A. So whatever the class A consists of member functions and data member, so those can be inherited into the B and C classes. Okay. Now suppose now from here B and C, from B and C, I am deriving the one more new class, that is the D class. So whatever the B and C consist of data members and member functions, so those can be inherited into the D class. Means now this class B consists of display function and class C is also consist of a display function. Suppose I am inheriting the D class here. What what Ramya? Any problem? You said that the message has no what happened? Okay, 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 okay. Now, so from class B, I'm deriving the two class, one derived class D class from B and C. Now, class B consists of display function and class C is also consists of display function. Now, suppose if you are deriving the new class from these two, so this display function is derived into the D class from B, and C is also having the display function that is also derived into the D class. Means here you can see the animation here. So from class B, I am taking the one more display function, so that is derived into the class D, and from C also display function is derived into the class D. Is this clear up to here?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Now, now see here. In class D, now we have two functions, display functions. With the same name, I have a display function. Now here we have a problem. Why? Because suppose if you are creating the object for the D class, okay, I have created the object for the D class. If you are calling the display function with the D class object, which display function will be called? Why? Because we have a overlapping here. Why? Because two display functions, I mean, with the same name, I have two functions in the class D. So this is the problem if you are creating the object for the D class and if you are calling the display function with the D class object, now the compiler get confused. Why? Because the D class consists of two display functions with the same syntax, same body. In that case, of which function I need to execute? So the compiler get confused. Okay, so this is the problem when you are taking this type of combinations in the hybrid inheritance. Is this clear, everyone?
Clear, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, but how to overcome that problem? I want to derive the, I want to take the multiple and multi-level, I mean multiple and the hierarchical inheritance concept here, combination. I want to implement the programming part, but you have a two copies of display function created in the D class. Need to overcome that problem. So how to overcome that problem by using the keyword virtual. Listen carefully. So if you are taking the combination like this, if you get the number of copies combination I mean copies into the derived class, then the compiler get confused by because the number of copies will be created in derived class. If you call that one, so which function must be executed? Which function should I need to execute? So the compiler get confused. So to overcome that problem, we are using the keyword, special keyword here, virtual. By using the virtual keyword, only one copy of the base classes from you are deriving from the A class and B class and C class, only one copy of the particular function will be created in the derived class. So we have only one copy is left. So there is no problem if you are calling the particular function with the derived class object. Okay. Now let's see that one with the programming part. Let's go to the programming part. I'm taking the online compiler. As I think already I have written here. Just I'll erase this one, no problem. Now you can see here. So I'm taking the, so if you have a laptop, so parallelly you can type it and you can execute the program. Yes. Now I'm taking one class, A class. Okay. Now in A class, I'm taking the some uh, int A. Let us take int A. Okay. Now I'm taking the display function. I need to display the value of A class data member. So here, this I'm taking the zero statement to print the value. To print the value of A function. That is A class uh, data member. Data member A is that is value is A. Okay. Now just I'm closing the class. Okay. So like this, I need to take the B class also, which I'm copying it here. Okay. Now this is my B class. Okay. Now here I'm taking the data member as B. Let us take it is a display A, and it is the display B here. And it is a B class. B class data member B here. I'm taking it as. Okay. So like that, I need to create a C class also. Okay, I need to create the C class. So here I'm taking the C. Here data member is C, and display function name as display C. And here I need to take the statement C class data member C is value is data member C. Okay, so this is the C class. Now I need to take the one more class. Four classes we need to take. So I need to take the one more class, that is the B class. Now here it is. And then the B class, and data member is B, small b. So observe that one. I'm taking the capital B and small b's. Okay. So it is B class data member B is. Okay. Now these are the different classes. Okay, so A is individually I'm taking the class, B individual class, C the individual class, and D individual class. There is no connection between each and every class. Now I want to take the inheritance concept now. So in that case, I need to take the same types by the inheritance. Now see here. So, so what is the concept we have taken here? So from A class, I need to derive the B and C classes. Okay, from A class, I need to derive the B and D C classes. So in that case, now to B class, I need to inherit the properties from A. Okay, that's it. Now from the C also. C also is derived from the A class. Okay, and come to the D class. The D class is derived from which class? Anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me what is the derived class? D is derived from which classes?
DC.
Ah, yes, good. Very good now. Soumyasri also said that it is DC. Yes, Bharadwaj, good. It is DC. So we need to take the syntax here. Public D, comma. Again, we need to take the access specifier public C. Okay. Now this is the concept. Okay. Now, so what happened when you're taking the inheritance concept here means the class A consists of data member A and display A. So this copy will be created means inherited into this particular B class. Here I'm copying this one. So I'm saying keep it as an comment, keep it in a comment lines. So it is a copy from the A class. Okay. Now when you are taking the C class here, so I'm deriving the C class from same A class. So means A class data members and member functions can be inherited into this particular C class also. Again, I'm take it in a comment class. So why? Because it is a copy from the A class. Okay. Now come to this one. Display D. So what is this display D? Is a derived class from B and C. Means whatever you have a B and C data members and member functions, all those can be inherited into the D class. So what is my B class member functions here? Total one. This one. You can see the screen. So this total B class data members and member functions inherited into this particular class. Okay. A class data member A and display A, and B class data member B and display B. So I'm taking this as a common line. This is also a common line. Okay. So why? Because it is derived from the some other class. So simply I'm put it in a common class. Okay. Now, so this is from B class. Okay. So this is from the B class. So what is C class data member and member function? So this is the C class data member and member function. So this copy is also created into the derived into the this particular B class. You can see that. So what is the now? So I'm keeping this as also in a comment. Now observe here. Observe here. So I'm deriving the B class from B and C classes. So what is my B class data members and member function into A, display A, into B, display B. And from C class, so just I'm taking the writing. So this is from class and this is from class B. Okay, so this is from class B. I have data member A and display function, and I have a data member B and display B function. And from class C, I have data member A from the class A and display A function, and class into C display C. So it is from the C class. So I have a C data member and a display C. Now you can see this one. I have a two copies of A class data member and member functions. So this is one copy and this is one more copy. So why you have a why you are getting the two copies into this particular class? Why? Because we are deriving the D class from A class and then B class from C class. Means B C from B C you are getting the two copies into the D class. Now you have a problem here. Suppose if I am creating the object for the D class, this class, and if I am calling the display A function, now you have two functions here. So this is a display A function and this is also display A function. Then the compiler gets confused. Why? Because you have a more than one copy in the derived class. So which function I need to execute? The compiler gets confused. So to overcome that problem, we are taking the nutshell. So before that, once we'll go to the main part. Okay, main function. So take the objects here. I'm creating an object for the class A, obj A, and I'm creating object for the B class. Okay, and I'm creating an object for the C class. Okay, and I'm creating the object for the D class also. Okay, now suppose with the D class object, that is what is my D class object? Obj D. With D class object, I'm calling the display display D. Display D. I'm calling the D class data member function, that is a display D. So here we don't have any problem. Why? Because display D is belongs to only D class only. So we have only one copy is there. Simply you can execute the program. So let's try that. Try that one. So I'm executing this one with the return statement here. Return 0. So just once execute this one. Now you can see here. So D class data member D is some value. Why? Because it is a garbage value. Why? Because I'm not assigning any value now. Simply I am declaring the D data member. I'm displaying the D data member. Okay. Suppose here in display only, just I'm assigning the value D equal to some 20. Okay. Just I'm taking the D equal to 20. Let's try this one. What happened when you are taking the D equal to 20 and taking the CO statement here. Now you can see here D class data member D is 20. So one copy is there from the D class, that is display D function. There is no problem. Simply you can execute the program. Now observe. Suppose I'm calling the function with the D class object, and the function name is let us take it as a D. Is there any problem? Suppose if I'm calling the D class object and data member function with the D class object, can anyone tell me? Is there any problem? So I'm taking the display B and C functions with the D class object. This program is executed or any errors you are getting? Yes? Tell me. Anyone, please respond to
I
my
got errors,
question.
ma'am.
You are getting errors?
Yes, ma'am.
You are getting errors. Why?
Don't know, ma'am. Executed, but
No. So we have only one copy, na? So B, C is only we have one copy to the D class. We can see here. So B class data member B is 0 and C class data member C is 0. Why? Because I'm not initializing any value here. I'm not initializing any value here. Simply you are getting the 0 for B and C data members. Okay. Now, suppose, now see here. I'm calling the display A. I'm calling the display A function now. Now we are getting the error here. We will get the error here. Okay. So why? Because you have a two copies display A function in the D class. You can see the program. Already I have taken in the comment answer. So we have a two copies display function. So this is display function one copy and this is the display function second copy. So we have two copies. Suppose if you are calling the display A function with the D class object, we are getting the error. Why? Because we have two copies. Now let's try to run this program. Let's try to run this program. Now you can see we have an error. What is that error? Request from member display is ambiguous. You can see this statement. Ambiguous. Why? Because we have a two display functions. We have a two display functions in the D class from A class. From A class it is going to B class and from A class it is going to the C class and from B and C you are getting the two copies into the D class here. So we have an ambiguous error. Now how to overcome that problem? How to overcome that problem here? Now by using the keyword virtual. So where we have to take the keyword virtual. So we can see here. We are getting the we are getting display A function from which class? B class, and you are getting display A function from the C class. So when you are deriving the A class members into the B and C, so here, here I'm deriving the A class into the B class. Okay, so here before this public keyword or after this public keyword, you can take it anywhere after or before the public keyword. I need to use a keyword here, virtual. Okay, and here also, in C class also, C class also, C class also. Here and take the virtual. Why? Because we are deriving the new classes from A classes. We are deriving the number of classes from the A class. Means you are creating the number of derived classes from the same class. You may get the chance of taking the number of functions ambiguous. So in that case, we need to overcome the problem. We need to overcome the problem by using the keyword virtual to the base class. What is my base class here? A class. So before that, you need to use the keyword virtual here. So in this case, so when you are taking the virtual keyword, then only one copy of the function or one copy of the data member will be created in the derived class here. In the class, so previously we have two data members and two member functions here, that is int a display and int a display. So we have two copies here. But when you are using the virtual keyword here, when you are using the virtual keyword here, only one copy will be created. So just I'm erasing this one. So you can take any number of, you can derive from any number of these classes, but only one copy will be created. That is the use of the virtual keyword. Now let's try to run this program. Now let's try to run this program. Now you can see here. Now you can see the output. So that is B class data member D is 20 and B class data member is 0. But why? Because these are the garbage values now. This is 0 and this one is garbage value. And here A class data member A value is garbage value. So you are getting all the classes A class, B class, C class, B class values here. Okay. So you have garbage values now. So I need to get the original values. So just initialize the values in this function. I'm going to initialize the value for the C is 30 and here B equal to 20 and here A equal to 30. And come to the B class data will this analytical data set. Okay, now you'll get the values of A, B, C, D data members here. Now you can see here. So A class data member A is 10 and the C class data member is 30 and B class data member is 20 and D class data member is 40. So if you are not using the virtual keyword, just I will remove that virtual keyword. You know, you can see here, you'll get the error. Just I'm removing that virtual keyword here. Now you can see virtual. I'm using this virtual keyword. Now let's try to run this program. You will get an error. If you are not using the virtual keyword there means the number of copies will be created in the derived class, you will get the error. So that is the ambiguous error. Suppose you are using virtual keyword, only one copy of the members will be created in the derived class. So simply you can execute the program. So this is a concept of virtual when you are taking the hybrid inheritance. So when you are taking the combination of two types or three types of inheritance, you may get the problem like this. So number of copies will be created from
Ma'am,
the
your
main
voice
class.
breaking.
Now is it okay?
No, no, ma'am.
No. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Breaking, ma'am.
My from my side it's clear now. So for remaining people also it is clear. I think it is only for you. The problem is
I will rejoin, ma'am. Once.
yeah okay. So is this clear now everyone? So what is the hybrid inheritance? What is the problem in the hybrid inheritance? And how to overcome that problem with the keyword virtual? Yeah, good, 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 Lakshmi Prasanna, good chemistry. Yes. Okay. So this is the way to write the hybrid inheritance program by using the virtual keyword. And what is the problem here? What is hybrid inheritance? You can take the combination of any type of inheritance. But when you are taking the combination of inheritance, you may get the problem like this. What is the problem? Ambiguous. What is the meaning of ambiguous? The number of copies will be created into the derived class from the number of paths. Okay, number of paths we are getting the same function into the derived class. So in that case, number of copies will be created into the derived class. Suppose if you are calling that function, the compiler get confused. Why? Because you have a number of copies in the derived class. So which function I need to execute that one. So in that case, how to open the problem here by using the keyword virtual. So where we have to take the keyword virtual here to the main class. Suppose if I are taking the, you can see this, you can see this PPT once. Now you can see here. So A is derived into the B class and A is derived into the C class. And from B and C we are derived into the D class. So where you have to keep the virtual keyword to the B class derived from the A class. So there we need to include the keyword virtual keyword. Means when you are deriving the A class into the A class into the B class and C class, you need to take the keyword here virtual. So here we take the keyword virtual. Before public or after public? Let us take this one. Here I am taking the after public. Okay. Now you can run this program. So like this, we can execute the multi inheritance program. Okay. Is this clear everyone? Yeah. Good. Good. Now, What is the guys? You have a learn programs in a DSC plus first week program is I think it is inheritance. I think. Do you have a syllabus of DSC plus class? I mean theory and lab? No? Do anybody have a syllabus copy? I saw that. No, no, not, no, no. Okay. So I will share that one. So that is theory as well as the lab syllabus, and you can once see that one. So did anyone, yeah, did anyone listen that lab videos? Anyone? No, no one listened the lab videos. No one. Why? Already I kept that videos in the group now. What was I don't know from yesterday onwards your voice is not audible to me. I'm listening to it there. Okay, okay, no problem. I'll share that theory and the lab videos. Okay, no problem. Okay, once go through that one. And what are the lab programs? So till now we have 1.5 units over now. So what are the programs in the DSC plus plus regarding this 1.5 unit? Okay, so once go through that, execute that programs. Okay, if you want lab videos, again I will keep that videos into the WhatsApp group. Okay, I'll just add put that into the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that is the first week of DSC plus plus language. Okay, now okay, no problem. So what is the assignment for today is so take the hybrid inheritance. Yeah, okay. I'll share it in Google Classroom. Yeah, thank you, Vaishnavi. I'll share it in the Google Classroom so you can see that one also. Or else I'll keep it in the chat. I mean, what's it? No problem. Okay. Now, so what is the assignment for today? Same, hybrid inheritance, but don't take the values. Don't take the values. So in A class, take the room number and name. Okay? And in B class, take the marks. Yeah, take the marks. And in the C class, so what will take in C class here? Let us take the class, I mean, which branch and which department, like that, take that as some data numbers. And in D class, you need to derive all those into the D class. Okay, so using D class concept, I need to display all the values, the roll number, name, and the remember name, your marks, and which class you are belongs to. So I need to get all the details from the D class option. Okay, is this clear? The comment? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vikas. Okay. So take that one, execute that one, and post it in that. Now, I'm going to create one separate email for your assignment. That is lab videos. Okay. So from next session onwards, you will see the lab program also. Anyway, we are seeing the programming part in the theory also. But if you want, you will see that in the lab session also. And you need to execute those lab programs, and you need to upload that file, whether it is a PDF file or a screenshot or images, into the Google form. I'll create a Google form and you can post it in the Google form. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any questions up to here? Inheritance? Did everyone got the outputs for the previous yesterday's assignment, or do we have any doubts? No? Yeah. So what is my second assignment? So first one is hybrid inheritance. So what is my second assignment here? Take the combination of multi-level and multiple. Yeah, thank you, Vaishnavi. Now, second assignment is hybrid inheritance only, but take the combination of multi-level and multiple. So when you're taking the multi-level and multiple, there is no problem like this. There are no copies will be created into the directory. Simply you can take the program and you can execute that one. No problem. No issues in the taking the multi-level and multiple. So second assignment is take the combination of multiple and multi-level inheritance and execute that one. And same data members you can take that one. That is room number, name and marks, and in one class you can take the branch and the year and divide that into the derived class and execute that one. So we have two assignments today. Hybrid inheritance only. First one is the combination of hierarchical and multiple, and second one is the combination of multiple and multi-level. Okay. Now, I'm going to take one more programming. Yeah, I'm going to take one more. So simply just I'll remove this one. Take the fish program. What about constructors? When you are taking the inheritance concept, so is that constructor is derived into the derived class or child class or not? If it is derived, what happened? If it is not derived, why it is not derived? So we'll say that one. So I'm taking this one class. So I'm taking the base class. Okay. Here I'm taking some data member X, and here I'm taking some access specifier public, and I'm taking the constructor. So this is my constructor name, class name. This is my class name, this. I'm taking the constructor here. I need to write some statement. That's it. Which I need to print the statement. Constructor. So this is constructor. It is a base class. What type of constructor it is? User defined constructor. User defined constructor. Okay, is the user defined constructor. Okay, that's it. So I'm taking only one data member and the constructor. Simply I'm taking the base class defined class. Okay, now here I need to inside the value also for x equal to some 10 number. Okay, just I'm closing the class. Now I'm taking the one more class, and it is a derived class from the this base class. So I'm taking the class name as derived. Okay, and I'm taking the public access specifier, and I'm taking the derived class from the class base. Okay, now here I'm taking one data member y, taking the public access specifier. So I need to take the constructor to initialize the value of this particular. Okay, but my constructor name is here derived. Yes, guys, are you listening the class?
Yes, ma'am, we are listening.
Yeah, thank you, Niklas. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, thank you, ma'am. Now it is y, and we can take the value here 20. Yes, thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Amri. Okay, so this is the value. Now here I need to just modify this. It is a derived class. We are in derived class now. So this is a derived class user defined constructor. Just simply I'm closing the class. Now let's come to the main function. In main function, I need to create the object for the both base class as well as the derived class. So this is the for base class, I need to take the object name as just b1. Okay, and come to the derived class, and I'm taking the object b1. Now, so when you're creating objects, the constructor will be called, isn't it? So when you're creating the object, the constructor will be called. Now, once see here, what happened? What happened when you're taking this type of inheritance? Okay, so this is only single level inheritance. Okay, but what happened when you're taking the constructor? Okay, let us see. Just let's try to execute this program. We'll see that what happened. Now you can see it. Base class user defined constructor and base class user defined constructor and derived class user defined constructor. Okay, so you will get the all outputs. Why? Because in derived class we have a base class constructor also is there. So this copy is also created here, isn't it? Why? Because we are deriving that now. So this copy is also created in the derived class also. So when you are creating the this particular derived class, so we are creating the derived class object. So first it is going to the base class constructor and it execute that one. Then it is coming to the derived class constructor. Is this clear, everyone?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So what is the meaning of this one? So why we are getting the second here say statement also base class constructor? Why? Because we are deriving. So what is implicit here in the derived class? We are calling the base class like this. Base class colon colon base class constructor. So this is an implicit form. So we are not going to write this one. So when you are taking the statement like this, so like this your copy will be created. Like this the copy will be created. Means so first when you are creating the object for that particular object constructor will be executed. But when you are creating the object for the derived class, now you can see here. So when I am creating the object for the derived class, first the base class constructor will be executed, then it is going to the derived class constructor. So what is the meaning of that one? Means in the first statement of the constructor derived class constructor, so first the base class constructor will be called. The base class constructor name is base, why? Because the class name is base. It is belongs to which class? Base class. So this is the implicit form when you are taking the object for the derived class. So for, like that, first it will execute the base class constructor, then it is coming to the derived class constructor. Okay? Yes. Okay. Now suppose I need to take the parameterized constructor. It is only user defined the default constructor. Suppose in that if it is a case, I need to take the parameterized constructor. So what happened when I take the parameterized constructor? Let us take this one. So I'm taking the some parameterized constructor. Here I need to take the value here 10. Okay. I use the parameterized constructor and taking some value here. Okay. So simply I'm just remove this one. That is my continue to the class base class. Here I need to take in the sum a, and here we need to assign the a to the x like this. Something this derived also here I am taking the one more. It is y. It is b. Already we have data number y. Then here I need to assign the value b to the y. That is y equal to. Okay. I come to the main function. I am creating the object and I am calling the parameterized constructor. Now let's see what happens when you are taking the statement. Just I am going to run this program. Now you can see here. Now you can see here. So what happened? Just I'm missing the any error, no matching function from previous. Any statement once I execute it's equal to this class. Now, so when you are taking the parameterized constructor, it is not like a default constructor. So when you are taking the default constructor with the derived class object, you can execute the base class constructor, default constructor. But in case of parameterized constructor, it is not like a default constructor. It will not be executed. Okay, it will not execute. For the default constructor only, it will execute the program. Default constructor. But if we are taking the parameter constructor, the case is different. Then why how to execute that program? Now here we need to call the base class constructor here. So how to call the base class constructor here? Like inheritance concept only. Okay. Suppose if you want to derive the derived class here, derived class. So how to take that how to take that here, so we need to take the colon symbol access specifier, then which from which class you need to take the class, we need to write that one. So here also in the derived class constructor, take the colon symbol. Okay, so I need to call the base class constructor. So what is my base class name? Base. So I need to call that constructor here. I need to call the constructor here, and it is a parameters constructor now. So I need to take one parameter. So here it is a b value. Okay. So like this we can execute the program. Now let's try to run this program. Now you can see this output. Base class user defined constructor and the base class sorry, it is not user defined constructor. It is now it is parameters constructor. No? I'm good. I need to change this one. Base class parameterized. Okay, base class parameters constructor, and this is the derived class. No, I take this. Now you can see the output. So base class parameter constructor and base class parameters constructor and derived class parameters constructor. Okay, this is clear, everyone. And yeah, I need to print the values also. So simply you can take the value base class parameters constructor and the value I need to print that is value is okay. I need to print the value that is x also. Okay, and come to the derived class. I need to print the derived class object data member value. So here I need to take the value. Now try to execute that one. We will get the value not show. What is x value and what is the value. Now you can see here. Base class parameters constructor value is 10. Now you can see here. So when you are passing the value, so here in derived class we are passing the value here. Na? So it will take the derived class object as a parameter to the base class parameter. You can observe here. Base class parameter is constructor 10 and base class parameter is constructor 20. So actually I am passing the 10 with the object A class only. I'm passing the 10 with the base class object only. But when you are taking the derived class object, we call the first base class constructor. Na? By using this syntax, we can call the base class constructor. Na? So in that case, this parameters constructor will take the derived class value. So what is the derived class value here? 20. So it will take the 20. So it will go to this particular constructor. So 20 will be assigned to the data member x, and that value will be printed here. So that is the second point in the when you are taking the values here. Okay. So first it will call the base class constructor, no problem. But when you are taking derived class constructor, first it will go to the base class constructor, then it will do the derived class constructor. Is this clear, Mo? So just yeah, I'll just conclude this one. So in this session we discussed about the hybrid inheritance, combination of any types of inheritances. Okay, so when you are taking the hierarchical inheritance and multiple inheritance, you may get the chance of taking the number of copies or functions or data members into the derived class. So the compiler get confused by because we have a number of copies in the class. So to how to overcome that problem by using a virtual keyword, we can overcome the problem. And second concept here, constructor. When you are taking the inheritance concept, what about the constructor? When you are taking the default constructor means we are not going to pass any parameters here. Okay, so whether it is a user defined or user defined constructor here. So if you are taking the normal user defined default constructor, so when you are creating the object for the base class constructor will be called. And when you are creating the object for the derived class, first it will execute the base class constructor, then it will come to the derived class constructor. No issues there. Okay. And what is the implicit form of that one? There we are calling that here in derived class we are calling implicit as a base colon base class constructor will be called. So that is the case. But When you are taking the parameterized constructor, the case is different. When you are taking the parameterized constructor, so when you are taking the object for the base class, first the base class constructor will be called. And when you are creating the object for the derived class, it is not going to the base class constructor, and you will get the error also. Okay, it will go, it is not going to the base class constructor, and you are getting the error also. Why? Because first I need to execute the base class constructor, then only you can come to the derived class. But how to execute that base class constructor? By using this syntax here in derived class constructor, followed by colon and followed by the base class constructor name. We need to take the parameter. So when you take the parameter in the derived class with the base class constructor, so this derived class or data member value is taken into the base class constructor. Second part, when you're taking the first in the base class constructor will be executed, no problem. But when you're taking the object for the derived class, so first it is going to the base class, and the derived class data member value is taken that, and it will execute that value, that statement, and then come to the derived class object, I mean derived class constructor. Okay, clear? Or do you have any doubts here?
No doubt, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone? Still anyone? Anybody have any doubts regarding this inheritance concept? Clear. Okay, Vaishnavi, thank you. Voice, what happened? No one is listening? Rajesh Manu, clear. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Vanilla. Thank you, Ramya. Thank you, Prince. Okay, clear. Okay. So you can execute these programs with your laptop or your mobile phones, no problem. But the assignment programs you need to put it in the chat, WhatsApp. Okay? Okay, this I'll stop. Yeah, I'll stop it here. In next session, we'll continue with the remaining topics. Okay? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. You can leave the class. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Once I'll need to check the attendance. 1 minute. Yeah, because attendance. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'll look into that. Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. Don't leave the class. Wait a minute. First, I need download this attendance. Then you can leave the class. Wait a minute.